So yeah, we'll. I guess we'll get going here. And if Fluffy Sheep does drop in, then that's that's fine. Um, so I'm gonna swap y'all around. I'm gonna move Jaden over. We're gonna put the professor with the other group here, and then we'll put.
I just can't get my camera to work. I don't know what's going on.
So it's a non-working on your end as well. It's not me that needs to refresh.
Yeah, I can't see myself. That's the thing.
Do you have something else open that could be using it? For example, if I open Slobs before I come to the Roll20 tab, Slobs already wants to tap into my camera, and so it will deny access to Roll20.
Yeah. Darkwolf, what browser are you using?
Chrome? I've always used Chrome.
Alright, so it's Chrome. Because like I just updated my Firefox and I had issues.
Do you have Firefox installed? Maybe try it.
No, but I just noticed that Google Chrome wants to update. Let me try updating. That'll fix it.
I also have soda.
I have Gatorade.
I have Barks root beer.
I have watermelon Gatorade.
That works.
Ooh, that sounds tasty.
That sounds good.
It is tasty.
Let's see.
I
So
have the brown sugar fudge and caramel.
Face tank. Blue steel. And
All of that stuff just makes me giggle.
there we go. And what's up? What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
I know what you did all that for.
So yes, there are some new emotes that have been put into place. So some fun things, some fun little we'll call them parodies of the characters here. So if things are getting to a certain point and you think that a snack time is appropriate, you could type snack time. You could type in desert heat, face tank, blue steel, or weather. And enjoy what is going on there. And then of course there's the usual emotes, T Mordecai, as well as the alternate of Mordecai. If you have BTTV, then you can see them. You can see the little GIF image there. It'll show up in chat as well. That's like on the screen. But you got Mordecai's, you have Fickle God and the Pickle God. As there seems to be a little competition, I guess, for the hearts and minds of people.
And if you want to pay tribute to the dead,
yes, T Celine or T Skelline as well.
I love Celine, I miss her.
Well, Celine is always with us.
She is.
She is a part
she's
of us.
She's getting canonized as a saint, so you'll see her soon enough.
We'll find out.
In stained glass windows.
Yeah, you owe about 3 miracles before that happens, sir. We'll find out what happens.
I did miracles. I brought someone back to life.
Nobody saw it.
That's why you have to tell my story, Mordecai. You're the minstrel.
Well, that is true. Go.
It's a love story.
So we had left off. Hey,
people.
there we go. We got a Kazimir.
I still don't know what was wrong.
Did you install Adobe Reader? Because that fixes everything.
Sometimes it does.
No, I just refresh like times after update.
All right, so where we had left off, in the official version of things, as we had come to conclude, was that during a 2-day overlay in Uct, for Lellywelland's Gamble to resupply, there was a bit of a hunt to go and investigate things that were going on, and sure enough, the group led by Kazimir through this favored terrain, did in fact find something to hunt, and Bright had a devastating vision of what was to come, and it was a very intense revelation of the kind of foe that still exists and lurks lurks around here, and really as such, this is this is going back to whatever these flesh trees were, and then of course the flesh trees which had started in Uct, because if you remember your first encounter with them, while you were in Green Shield, all the way over in the country of Mesomasca, the flesh tree itself was a native of Uct, which is a more tropical southeastern country in the greater sort of Mediterranean, in our world comparison of Mesotopia, and so something has been going on in Uct that has been lurking. And that has been growing, and is seemingly like sending out these things that have been able to convert others into more like flesh stuff. You had retreated back to the boat. In the meantime, Professor Cypher, you found an iron rod that was suitable to your needs. And that was totally not, like a spine and pelvis bone. Although enjoy that mini, by the way.
I will.
And so the tale was recounted back to you, Professor Cypher. And we had the group continue to sail north from Uct. As you were leaving from here, and it was going to take you about a week to reach a major trade city that would lead to this inner bay here. And then from this point, you would be able, if you wished, Professor Cypher and or Bright wanted to come along for this as well, you would be able to go and investigate the crater. However, the ship is making a wide berth around it since the influence that is in that area for magic to go wild has grown or intensified. And so it is taking a wider berth around and can drop you off, and then you might be able to find a way to go back and revisit this this giant crater that crashed through the lands and even deep in the water as something happened. And
Might be something to check out.
we had also, well, and plus it's your old stomping grounds too, Professor. The Fallfire Plain here, which is this more temperate area south of the Aslandian Desert. There are plenty of things going on in the homelands that you could also traipse around and hi cat, and get more information. And if you don't want to do that, hey, you can continue around to Aslandia as at some point in time as well, sooner than later. When you started out, I think it was about a month, and you've traveled 2 weeks out of a month. That after about a month, the Healing Words were set to play a big concert in Aslandia, and of course they're a very big band that has been gaining more and more popularity, and all of this is building up to a Battle of the Bands style showdown with a rival of theirs out here in the desert. But think about where you'd like to go. If you wanted to stay on the ship, or if you want to traipse around someplace. If there's information or other goals that you would like. I still have your list of old goals for, because Kazimir wanted to perhaps make some armor and whatnot. Being aboard a ship is not going to be the best place. Ma'am, get that off camera, please. Thank you. Being aboard a ship isn't really going to be the best place to do any smithing, but you can find, especially in a port city or in a trade town or something, you can find resources, or honestly, just the time to settle down and just experiment, craft, research, do all these things. I dare say you can even pit fight. Even you, Mordecai. This isn't just a Jaden thing.
I am not the type that does that kind of thing.
And then we have a meanwhile. Meanwhile, back in Mesomasca here, we have Jaden Stillwater's investigator, who had been doing just that, working with his contact at the Wild Cherry in order to find out information, in order to... you actually had a very interesting time doing some gambling, some high stakes, gambling with some muckety mucks of the Shadowhar kind of invaders. It hasn't quite been determined. They're not overtly hostile, and there hasn't... I mean, there's been fights, but it's been like, you know, down at the docks, people are getting rowdy sort of stuff. It hasn't been, you know, one country telling the other to openly, you know, to openly assault. But you were finding out some interesting things about people being shipped in coffins and other such details. As of course, the Shadowhar Empire has a very interesting history regarding, well, vampires or necromancy and maybe ancient claims on the land. And so in particular, when we get boots on the ground here, we have the city itself, which was, you know, it's still operating. And more in particular, when we come over here, there was the tower that was burning. However, a wall was built around it. And as you had learned, Jaden, it would seem that this is being converted into some kind of steam source, where they want to pipe through heated water into buildings for just that, for things like indoor plumbing and for just general heating. And this is something that seems to be at the behest or at the guidance of the Shadowhar, who have similar machinations back in the homelands to the northeast. So what I will do is I will pick up with Jaden in this first part, and so that will leave the team aboard the ship to consider where you might want to go or what you may want to do. And so Jaden, you are here, or hereabouts anyway. You have a segment of time that you can set some kind of a goal, and we will pursue that through some kind of a downtime activity. And remember, you can always just rest if you want to. You don't have to do anything. But that is up to you.
Now, on an out of character moment, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of at a loss on what more I can do.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a rest out of the idea that I really am completely unsure where to go, and we've taken a break. Yeah, we've kind of been away for a bit, so it's probably going to take a little while for things to click for me. So,
okay.
In lieu of nothing else coming up, I might spend some time at the Tipsy Wench just to hear what there is to hear, start to get a feel for the place, and outside of that, have a lovely evening with Miss Quam.
Very well. Then events in the city will proceed as they do, and let me also floating from last time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear these off the list, so if you all want to mark them down to redeem them tonight, just so we can clear off the list here, we have, these are not inspiration, but these are +1s that are floated to you all by community members by the Fickle Favor. So Cypher has, Cypher has 2. So if you want to note that down, Lethality, you have 2 +1s you can use it on something here. And then we have Kazimir. Kazimir's floating 1. And then we have Jaden is floating 2. And Mordecai has 1. And then I have 2 and Bright has 1, but Bright's not here, so I'll keep that one up, and then I'll use mine as necessary here. All right, so I've cleared that out. So if you have that as a note, that has to be used tonight, just because it's old and I don't want to keep floating a ton into the future here. Then what will happen then, Jaden, as you are taking a week to let life play out, you're relaxing, whatever you're doing next, you will have an advantage on rolling for something in that regard, since this has given you time to train, or just to sharpen your mind, or, you know, this isn't exactly like a dogged pursuit of information, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you've picked up a book and you're reading through something. That's always an option too, to just, you know, it's informational. If not, it's, you know, building strength or endurance. In fact, what we could even do, you can take the training action instead if you wish, and that would have you be more focused in pursuit of doing something like learning a language. So, for instance, if you wanted to learn the Shadowhar, you know, Northern Common, then you can get some lessons in that, and you can focus on that. Or if there is a proficiency with a tool, maybe you start learning how to do a little bit of crafting with something. And so if you wanted, instead of to float an advantage to something else in the future, if you wanted to lay down the foundation, you know, you're not going to learn a language in a week, but this would certainly, you know, we can have roleplay considerations for your learning. You know, in that week, you're starting out, you're learning some keywords. You know, you have a rudimentary understanding. Maybe you and Miss, this could even be setting up some kind of an understanding, or, you know, if Mrs. Crumb or Miss Crumb's, she's not a Mrs. Not that she's told you anyway. If she says something, you know, as a command or something, then you can acknowledge some basic things. Would either of you, or I'm sorry, not either, well, I guess I could say either of you with Jaden, would either of you like to pursue one or the other? Do you want to mechanically float an advantage to something else, or would you like to learn a craft or start learning a language?
I believe that it would be most advantageous to be learning a language. Especially if we're going to be dealing with the Shadowheart, it might be useful to at least pick up on, well, the ability to understand each other.
Okay, very good then. So you're going to start spending this time to study the Shadowheart language, and you'll be able to pick up to better pick up the dialect, and to communicate more effectively. So, all right, we'll do that with this next portion of downtime. And of course, you know, if disaster strikes the city, it's not like you're not in the city to be able to address it, but that's your primary focus is, you know, get up, you know, read, do some things, and start learning a new language then. Okay, very good. Then I guess what this means is I hope you all had your thinking caps on, because we are going to shoot across. We're going to shoot across back to Lellywelland's Gamble here. And you have set out north. So this is pretty much a week on the open sea again. And barring anything, you know, any combat, piracy, or monster attacks, You are aboard this ship. Remember that you are in the first class accommodations. And being in the first class accommodations, you do have, you have neighbors who are more well-to-do, people who might be, more well-versed in things like languages. If you all wanted to pick something up, or learning how to tie knots or to use a tool could be something else you can do. And again, for all of you, you can also use this time to just rest and to, for whatever you would do in your next downtime phase, you would have advantage on a roll in that regard, because you took that time to relax. But we can still fine tune or do something else. What would you like?
I think I want to propose a time skip.
Okay.
Because really the only thing that I think we're after is the lore that we might learn from the crater.
Sure.
And aside from any minute, minuscule little things that might happen, that really is all we're here for.
Okay.
I am crafting, but that's about it.
Okay. And Kazimir, would you be willing to go along with the time skip or the I'm not looking for trouble, I just want to make stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we can work on this.
Mostly because we've spent 4 episodes on this, Matty.
I know.
This was supposed to be an episode long.
I know.
Just proposing.
I don't say that with anger or anything. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a downtime. We'll do this, and but it's turned into its own little mini adventure. So then again, at the root of everything, this game was only supposed to last a couple months or even a couple weeks. So, well, not a couple weeks, but maybe a couple months. And here we are, session 80. Anyway, all right. Well, then we can have a fast forward. Who among you then would want to go to the crater? Because I mean, if at least one of you does, you can bring back the information to the others. I think
Right.
Bright wanted to.
Yeah.
If Bright wanted to, I think we were gonna go as a group to kind of
Okay.
assist each other and kind of make sure that wild magic doesn't get out of hand. Even though we probably all could survive a wild magic fireball at this point, but it is the crater, the source of everything when it comes to wild magic in this particular region. So, with it being that intense, separating is not a good idea.
Okay.
No.
All right. Then, with all of you together, you sail. Professor, you might be tinkering on this and that. The ship will go on unassaulted. There was a tense moment where there were some ships that weren't identified, where the crew of Lellywell's Gamble had kind of it'd be like the Star Trek equivalent of a yellow alert, where all hands were called and we're gonna see if something was happening, but nothing ended up doing so.
I do want to make a note that I still haven't been settled on what spells are in my Violin of Bards.
Yes. Okay. Let me narrate, and then we can go into the details. Because for sure, getting back into the swing of things after our break, I have no problem just having a very conversational, a very relaxed time. Where we can actually sit down and figure out the minutia of this, because also for Jaden, we needed to go over some of the properties of what was recovered in that high stakes gambling as well, since it was described as a very it was a very powerful or ornate piece of armor that was acquired in the the good old days of your dad and his friend as the initial, like, the rookie beat cops who saved up and got a cool piece of tech but ended up retiring it or putting it away for one reason or another. All right, so we're Kazimir. Kazimir looks like it got floated another +1, and add this to the next roll for initiative, says Samus. Well, it's a little broad, so I mean, if you want me to add that to my initiative, if initiative happens, I'll gladly take a +1. It's always an unfair fight. There's more players than a DM, so they always beat up on me here. All right, so what we're gonna do is take you to. Hey, I have a what's-a-doodle for this. So you spend that week sailing north. You are dropped off. In a very active port city, and just across the strait is Aslandia. So Kazimir, you are welcome to. Either pine for home or, get some news. There's a lot of elves here as well, other sand elves like you, who do trading across the strait, as it's a busy trade city. Ooh, pardon. And it's very active with commerce because this is a part where both Fallfire and Aslandia compete for business, as merchants will come into this inner bay, which is very, very ripe with fish, or rife with fish, and other goods. And so one city might give a certain tax break, and the other will then reciprocate or beat it, and so the other one will change their policy, and the other one. So it's almost it's kind of like an economic Cold War, except maybe not with any sort of murderous intention, but each city is always trying to outdo each other and change their policy. So the prices of things are constantly in flux. Haggling is a norm. Like, if you're not haggling there, then who are you? So it's a very, very busy place. It's a great center of commerce that we can pass through. Of course, we're doing narrative, so if you wanted to go to the bazaar or whatever, then you can. But we are sticking to you're sticking to the Fallfire side, and then you're going to be heading south. And you are able to, you can get some transportation of the mundane variety that will take you to the southern portion of Fallfire. And in fact, I'll bring you back to the map real quick here. As you had landed where that red X is, and you had traveled, and about at this halfway point, for the three of you, because the three of you are magic users, and you also have experienced that feeling that wild magic has. You've just sort of almost attuned to what that vibe, that kind of like static, like pins and needles sort of tingle is. And so about at that halfway point, you begin feeling a very minor presence. And through I'm just going to say cautious experimentation. I realize a fireball's a fireball. I'm saying cautious experimentation. Nothing beyond maybe, I don't know, Professor Cypher, maybe you go to do a little cantrip, and I don't know, like the end of your finger turns purple or something. It's something small, but as you are continuing south, you do feel a greater kind of buzz that is resonating with you, until you reach here, which is the northern lip of this great crater. And Professor Cypher, you are noticing as well, as a freebie to you, because this is your stomping grounds, where there was more of a it wasn't a barren wasteland, but certainly where the crater was, not too much, there wasn't an abundance of flora or fauna. There are these flowers that have grown that have taken the area. But you do see here that there has been a lot more growth of plants. We're talking trees and shrubs. There are much more flowers than what this illustrates. But the river that is turning into the waterfall still is present. The water's still flowing. It still goes to the sea, and then of course it gets very deep very quickly as this kind of scoop of land just descends into dark waters, and even the dark waters have a life of their own. A lot of corals and things that swim and glow. Things that are hopefully more vegetative for tendrils. But there's no boats around. No one is sailing through here, and that would have been some information as well you could have gotten aboard the ship. But there are all manner of creatures, of very weird sea creatures that have been spotted in the waters by the crater. And it would appear that there's just been an explosion of life. But all of the life that's here is different. You do see green trees, but the trees themselves just have an odd... if the wind is blowing from the north, then why does it look like they're actually moving west to east? There's just a lot of very minor weird things about this area. And then of course there's just this tremendous almost it's like a pressure now. It's not even just like a staticky tingle. There's like this welling up inside of you all that is stirring your magical abilities. It would be like the magical equivalent of feeling like you gotta pee. Like I gotta, like, it's there, I gotta go. But you're doing the dance and everything because for some reason your magical aptitude has been revved up, or there's a greater pressure that is on you as receptors to magic or expressors of magic that's here. And so you're getting a magical I gotta pee dance going on. There could be more to discover as far as the narration is concerned. You have stopped at the northern edge, though I can ask you, it looks like you can slide down. Professor, all right, let's go, or we'll get prepared first.
We'll get prepared first because something northern crater, something Sephiroth, something.
Okay.
Isn't this topical?
Now it is,
Very.
yeah.
Very.
If we had done this 2 or 3 weeks ago, then no. I will tell you, though, that that was hidden behind that slide before. Anyway. But these are the little things. I enjoy this kind of stuff. So I'm glad you can get a little giggle out of this. Because when I was planning, I'm like, okay, so what do I want it to look like? And, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Speaking of craters.
Yeah. But no, we'll get prepared first, and then we'll go, all right, let's go and slide down into the stupid-ass fucking dungeon.
There's no one.
All right.
We'll find out what's here. I expect that we will find evidence of Shonaruth.
Let's hope we don't find actual Shonaruth, huh?
Yeah, because it takes 10 minutes to cast teleportation circle to even try and get out. So,
all right. So you use a gloved hand to select the option to go down and explore the crater, even beyond the rim, and making your way down isn't... It's kind of treacherous. Honestly, there's a lot of there's a lot of growth that is occurring here. So even if you did slip on something, like a branch will catch you, and if you don't catch the branch will catch you. That being said, is we do have someone with Fey ancestry and a vampire. While there's a lot of creepy stuff here, nothing seems to be lunging out at you specifically. It's just kind of, I don't know, like vegetables are given kind of a semblance of being an animal because they're kind of animated. Now, I mean, Kazimir, you know that druids and other people who walk through nature have magical ability to manipulate in this way, but you're getting an unnatural, an aberrant sort of vibe from this. So it's not like, oh yay, we've discovered a magical druid's grove, yeah, you know, we're going to Candy Mountain. This is like super creepy vibes, because everything here appears natural, but it's highly unnatural. And as you are getting,
going to Candy Mountain, Charlie.
as you're descending, you do see that this place is not, it is not devoid of other life, of animalistic life, but you're seeing just weird combinations of sort of like a monkey and a bird. And you're seeing in the in pools of water, you're seeing like two-headed fish. You're seeing, but they appear to be healthy. I mean, they're not like kill me, kind of flopping around and having a horrible time. But this is just things are strange. Mordecai, you swear that you saw something that looks like an owl and a bear that was somehow like combined together in some unholy,
And this is an uncommon occurrence in this particular region.
Yeah, an owl and a bear, that's just dumb. Who would do that?
Reese's Pieces of D&D.
But you're also getting kind of a weird, just as some vegetation is taking on animalistic forms, you're also getting animals that are taking on almost some vegetative. So you're getting a... Oh, chat can't see the other chat, but that's fine. It's we know. So you're, in some cases, you're getting almost like I guess it would be like a Pokemon effect. Like you're seeing something like it'd be like a Bulbasaur. It's like a lizard, but it has a flower growing out of it.
I'm a sack.
And it's able to grab kind of a mutant bug with a vine will reach out and wrap around this thing. But instead of pulling it to the mouth, it actually pulls it down into the flower, and then the flower closes up, and you just see it kind of processing the bug. And so things here just, they're off. They work. They seem to work well. This lizard plant is functional. It doesn't appear diseased or, maybe bulbous in some case. But it's just a different kind of world. Now, Mordecai,
I don't get any voices, do I?
If there is, they haven't happened yet. As we're still exploring, you are going to get a feeling like what happens when you drink from other people. Pardon. And your body undergoes a change or some kind of a mutation. Now, with prior events, technically it didn't happen, but it was still described similarly. You are not changing, but you do get this kind of, I don't know, squishy feeling or something. However you conceptualize it for Mordecai, there's just this potential, a potential for change.
It feels like my body could change at will.
in so much that if you were to cast magic, that your spell could change. So something would have to trigger it, but the potential for extra is there. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So it has to be initiated, but it would seem like there's a great potential for something to happen if it's initiated.
Oh, that's spooky. So, just to make sure I understand that correctly, if I were to pop off a cantrip, for instance, it's entirely likely that it could explode like a level 1 spell or more?
It would have, there is the potential for great potency. A cantrip could just, I don't know, remove the bones from your finger, and now you just have like a flaccid little or it could, it could end up being very, very potent, and I don't know, your a firebolt could become, I don't know, something way more dangerous than just that. So far, I'm presuming that you all have not done any magic. I mean, beyond what I'm like, at the rim, we kind of did a little experiment. You turned purple to kind of gauge the severity or the potency of the magic as you're approaching this epicenter of the crater. But just as with magic can be modified, your body possesses that potentiality, Mordecai, because of your vampiric nature, as you've discovered. And so oh man, get that off camera, come on. I know I have an emote about it, but we're not here to broadcast that. But if you were to undergo some kind of a bodily change, you might find a severe sort of mutation or adaptation, as you've seen everything do here.
That's spooky. I'm not sure that I want to do that, because I could potentially change into something and it be permanent, and I don't want that. I like the way I look. Okay. Well, that's a thing.
I will also be saying, for the duration of the trip, you've been responsibly feeding off of Bright or others who are in a position to feed you and to, take that edge off. Yeah. Remember, everyone, feed responsibly and lick the wound.
Yes. Mordecai's inner curiosity is piqued, but he's being safe.
Now, broadly, as we are here, we're still kind of in narrative time. Is there an action that you would like to summarize that you're doing? I mean, you could just fish for weird stuff. You could conduct research. I don't know, maybe you want to try crafting something here, or this probably isn't the place to use a magical, to use your magical instrument. I don't know, it could be as well. You could try performing a religious service if you wanted to see if, I don't know, the book or invoking Celine or Ouijas might do something here. But is there something that you would like to perform in order to get more information than just a general looking around, or to accomplish a particular task?
I'm definitely doing some research.
I think for Mordecai, with the essence of magic being stronger, he does want to kind of religiously reach out and see if there is something to, like, because the book has definitely given him some insight in how Celine's spells work, or worked, and how she took notes and kind of insight into her brain, and how she was able to, like, put things together and kind of take that kind of approach to reaching to figure out what exactly is here and what happened here, and kind of doing a little bit of research, but kind of incorporating what I've learned about Celine's methodology,
Okay.
and even potentially making some prayers. See if we just actually communicates with me.
Okay. We can certainly do that. And then, Kazimir, would you like to do anything in particular? Do you want to study the flora or fauna or hunt them? Or are you looking to assist the professor or Mordecai with an activity?
I would be interested in some trophy hunting.
Okay. Okay, and we can do that then. All right. Now, since the week sailing up north, you're kind of doing your own thing. But what I will do is for any of these rolls to determine how successful you are. If it's a multi one, then I mean you could just roll. You could roll one of them with advantage to represent the that ability to focus or something along those lines, and we'll see where things go from here. And let's begin with how do I want to do Kazimir's hunting? Let's go with that's research. Not exactly gambling. Maybe we could end up doing a... Okay, so this is what we'll do. Kazimir, I will run this. It's kind of a forced meme at this point. I'm going to run this like pit fighting. Because you are going to be in contest with creatures or vegetation. And sometimes the line is blurred because you're not sure how to define either one. Now, I'm going to blend this a little bit with the choice that I had offered in the heist, which was performing a crime that was offered to Jaden, where you can choose a difficulty class. And, if you choose easy stuff, I don't need you to roll. If you just want to go fishing, or, I don't know, if you want to, pick some weird flowers, I don't need you to roll for that. You're going to get some insects, you're going to get some seed pods, things like that. And not that they're unimportant, but this is going to be, does Kazimir want a big trophy or to go for the big stuff? More risk, more reward, or do you want somewhere in between?
By the way.
Yes.
By the way, here's your little plant lizard.
What happened?
I drew a plant lizard.
Oh. Is it in Discord?
No, it's on her webcam.
Is my webcam not going?
Oh, no, but you know what? I lost all of you at the same time. I might need to refresh. So 1 second. I'm going to hit disconnect.
I'll show you when it gets done.
There we go.
Hey, all right, there we go. Oh, there you go. So does now the question is that like 6 inches long, or is that 6 feet long? So as per the I have Xanathar's off to the side here. That is carousing. I don't know. You could always, I guess, butter up the animals if you really wanted to. Not for a cooking session, but I guess that's possible as well. So you can choose if you go for whatever, something that would be like a DC 10. I mean, Kazimir, you're a hunter. While it's strange, this would still be forest, which is or coast even, because you're really close to it. However, this is favored territory, so I'm not going to worry about it. You can go 15, 20, or 25. And then any results, whether that is crafting material, knowledge, samples, or something, that would be up to you. Higher risk, higher reward.
I'll go 20.
Okay. All right. So you're going after some higher tier, some things that are maybe a little bit more threatening, a little bit more dangerous. And so what I will do then is with your 20, let's go to that is training. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So you are going to, over the course of this downtime to reflect your success, you're going to be making 3 checks.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to be making, by default, an athletics, an acrobatics, and a special constitution check. However, you can replace one of those with a weapon attack.
Okay.
And so what we'll do is we have set a static DC for this. You go off and you're hunting. I mean, this could be all 3 of you hunting. This is narrative, so I'm not really, I'm not going to be too picky in the details. So I guess we'll handle this in the order that it's listed here, and we can come up with a fun story based on the results. But the first check to make would be in athletics, possibly as you're climbing trees or rocks that are trees or trees that are rocks, because you're getting all kinds of, you go to stand on, I don't know, you step into like a pebbly area by where the water's flowing, and then it's sort of like in, which Pirate of the Caribbean was it? All the rocks like turn into little crabs and scuttle away. Third one? Okay, so yeah, like something like that happens by the shore, Kazimir. So we need an athletics check. And remember, you can replace one of those. Oh, you already made it. Okay. With a 22. All right, so you beat that 20. So very good. So next up, I'm going to need a dexterity acrobatics, as you need to swing from things or to try and mitigate a tumble. Generally athletics is going up and acrobatics is going down.
I'm going to add one of my +1s to this.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. And then lastly, we need to make a constitution check. And
can I replace this one with the attack?
You can replace it. Yeah, you can replace this one with an attack. You do get, let's see, constitution check. This does have a bonus equal to a roll of your hit die as well. So if you don't want to replace that with it, maybe an attack is better for you. But it does seem that you can roll. You're a ranger, so you get a D10 if you wish. You can still make an attack.
Okay. Should it just be a normal attack?
Yeah. This would just be. This would just be like. There's no multi. This is just a random number generation for the sake of crafting a story. Okay. All right, so you did succeed at one of the 3 tasks, and we'll say then that you were able to. What kind of a quarry would you be hunting down? There's no fae. There's no fae nor undead that are tingling your senses here. But would you want to go after a particular type of animal, a flyer, a swimmer, a climber, or something, a bug?
Honestly, I was looking for that bear owl.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll say that you were able to encounter this bear owl, because a bear owl sounds better than an owl bear, and so you managed to stalk it for a while. Like you got the jump on it. You were able to observe it for a while. You weren't able to bring one down ultimately, but Kazimir, you were able to get some information on this thing. How it moves. You're able to gauge its strength pretty well. And probably some other circumstantial things that if it comes up, then if it comes up, then you'll be able to, employ that knowledge. And so what we can say is, I don't know if there's, it would be a solid lead-in by the time that you get your next favorite enemy, that if you wanted to go into monstrosity or aberration, I mean, you would have enough of a knowledge in this time interacting with such things that you're learning, where might they come from, their, what they eat or what they do, and so you have a real solid lead-in for something along those lines. So if there's some sort of, I guess, a minor like a boon or a bit of specific knowledge, you can invoke that. Now, you weren't able to take a trophy from one, but you're also, you're still in one piece, and you gained knowledge from it. So, not terrible. All right, next let's go to Professor Cypher, who's doing some research. And then, of course, we'll conclude with Mordecai performing some religious services, doing some study here as well. Professor Cypher, what is your goal for research? I mean, are you trying to somehow crossbreed the flowers by pollinating them, or are you taking notes on something? Do you want to see, like, what do you want to figure out or try and do while you're here?
So, basically, I'm going to be having a look at I suppose the nature of the magic flow in this area. Like, it's wild magic, but what is wild magic?
Okay. You like a foundational level stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I think we could do something along those lines. All right. So ultimately, you want to understand the flow of magic, or the wild magic that is here. And what we will do, I'm not worried about spending gold pieces and the like, because there's really nothing to spend gold pieces on. So all these are kind of modified from the presentation, which is presuming, I don't know, like you're in a big city, like you're in Waterdeep, and you can spend money on higher quality ingredients for whatever, or you can buy some help or something, like an assistant to help take notes. So to research. You've declared the focus of your research, and you're going to make an intelligence check. And now you can spend your +1s in this if you so wish. This is not a series. This is going to be more or less a one and done.
Okay. Is it just a flat intelligence check? They don't ask for a particular skill?
They're not asking for a skill. I mean, what we can do in this case, and that's because it's not necessarily that the curve is flatter. From how it's listed, I mean, if you get if your intelligence check is 21 plus, you get some good rewards off of that. That's actually what Jaden ended up getting with that investigation going into things. But I suppose what we could do to make things a little bit more thematic, I guess if we'll take the concept of the research, we will, because that's, you can spend gold pieces to get up to like a +6 also in this, which is also why I think it's a flat intelligence check, because you can kind of buy, you can buy influence and answers as well, or at least the potential for help. But no, we could treat this, as a, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
You are studying magic that isn't manifested necessarily by your will alone, but has this presence, this force itself. It is something that molds and guides and flows, and as such, it can offer acceptance or resistance. And I will, I will also treat this as a pit fight, because damn it, I want a pit fight. Except we're going to make it a magical pit fight. And so, Professor, you are going to wrestle with the forces of magic that exist. And so we will, instead of doing though the athletics, acrobatics, and constitution check, I think we'll do a series of 3 checks that will test various disciplines here. I still want to keep that con check because I think that would be important.
Sure. Okay.
But what we'll do is, instead of an athletics, we'll say that, a good old-fashioned arcana.
All right.
And then, let's see, you do not have nature as a proficient skill, correct?
I do not yet anyway.
Okay. I will still call then. I'm going to call for a nature, not just to pick on you, but because you're trying to find, as a part of this research, how nature has been infused and changed by magic.
Yep.
So
okay.
This is it's a weakness, but hey, you know what? We got to have a little tension in here. And hey, if you really conquer this, then so much the better for you. And then we're going to make that special Constitution check, where you can get the assistance of a hit die. Now, what I will do though is, instead of Kazimir, because Kazimir could make Kazimir can choose what kind of prey to follow. I want to go after the thing that looks big and strong, and I'm going to be prepared for it. I'm going to treat this more like the original pit fight skill, where magic is going to fight back, and we're going to roll back and forth. So if you remember how I handled the actual straight up fight between Jacob and his father.
Yep.
We're going to treat it like that, where the father can come in and swing just as well as Jacob can. And for all I know, you might deliver that knockout blow and earn the respect of magic. So,
Opposed rolls.
Yeah. And remember, I am also floating 2 + 1s.
As am I.
Yeah. Oh, I see. This is going to be then. So you are going to be going up against me, rolling 2d10 + 5. Okay.
All right.
And then we're going to see who will win in that instance. So first things first, I want you to roll your Arcana. And I am going to roll 2d10 + 5.
I'm going to add a +1 there.
Ooh. Okay. So I rolled really high on this one. So with a 21, so the magic here is, it's obvious things are magical, but you're not getting any particular insight with this. So next up, maybe you're starting in the wrong place. Maybe you should start with what you know to exist, trees, and maybe that can indicate what the magic does to something that is otherwise. You don't have to be proficient in the nature skill to know what a tree is, or some basic functions. Now I am going to add one of my DM +1s to this, so I'm going to roll 2d10 + 6, and this is going to be your nature check.
This is also getting a +1 because...
Oof, my goodness.
Wow, you were just...
Professor Cypher, you... Now, if...
That'll be an
17. All right.
That'll be an 18, because I spent my other +1.
Oh, okay. In fact, thank you for reminding me. I'm going to mark off... Boop. Okay.
Cypher's getting rolled on.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm getting dunked on today.
Well, hey, the last time you got dunked on, you got first class accommodations aboard a region famous cruise liner. So it costs a little bit of money, but it's
750 gold pieces.
All right, and so now we're going to roll that Constitution check in order to find out what all, how are we going to conclude things. And remember, this is a con check that has a bonus equal to a roll of your largest hit die,
Which would be a D8 for me. So, con check.
Oh no.
Oh.
Ooh. Oof.
Professor.
Hold on.
That's a big old...
Yeah, no, even if I rolled an 8, that ain't gonna help me.
All right, so Professor, you got a 1 on that. So what will happen then? Because you will still walk away with knowledge.
Yes,
Derek
you can
dies.
take them. I don't want them.
Derek dies.
I warned you when you took that bag to here go play in D&D. Dude, those are my dice, but no, you're already out the door.
Okay. So, Professor, what we're going to do, you can still learn by the absence of knowledge, because you can still learn by what doesn't work as well as by what does work. You were able to eliminate some things. So it's not like you're walking out of here with absolutely nothing. So you are still getting a glimpse into the nature of things that are here. However, what I'm going to say is that you are your body having been opened, like your body and mind having been opened to this magic, will be affected by this magic as you have done what you can to try and understand it, to try and to measure the flow. And so, just like working with radiation, you might develop a little rash or something along those lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the rash will develop in the form of how can I do this? Oh, do I have Oh, let's do it this way. Lethality, do you have a monster manual by you?
I do.
Okay, can you grab your monster manual?
I can. Where is... do you need a physical monster manual or just a PDF will do?
Nope, just a PDF can work if that's more convenient for you.
Yeah, no, to go get my actual physical monster manual, I'd have to walk downstairs.
Okay.
Alright.
How many, let's see, there's like 280 some pages in there, correct?
I think it is over 300.
Is there over 300?
Yeah, 300 and... I'll be able to tell you in just a second. Yeah, it's over 350 pages.
Okay. I'd like you to turn to page 302 of the monster manual.
302?
Yes,
All
please.
right.
And I would like you to describe, if there is something that's on 302, I'd like you to describe
There is.
what you're looking like right now, Professor. Because I don't have one in front of me, but I think this could be a fun exercise in Revelation.
Alright.
Oh no.
Sure. So, the creature on page 302 is a wraith.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah!
Okay.
Do you start turning non-corporeal?
Yeah, incorporeal.
Yeah.
Me and my stuff turns incorporeal for a while.
You get this kind of like wispy effect. Now, I will say that you're not undead, Professor. Well, you did roll for a wraith.
Yeah, so it's not going to change my my creature type.
But I think what, I mean, you're still humanoid. You just, you're getting a different appearance, and maybe even some properties, because wraiths do have the ability to move through solid objects. Am I correct? I don't want to mix up my
Yes, they do.
additions.
They can move through they can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. It takes a D10 of force if it ends its turn inside the object.
Mm-hmm. So how I'm going to describe this then, Professor, is as the magic of the crater has flowed through you during this time, you've been trying to understand it. You have been partially phased out of existence. And so you do have this incorporeal state. You look kind of wispy, kind of tenderly. And Professor Cypher, this would almost be like the etherealness spell. Now, we don't necessarily we haven't really played necessarily like that. There's the whole, like, all the crystal spheres of the blah blah blah, there's the ethereal and then all the other, but we're going to narrate this as your vision tends to blur back and forth between what you're used to really seeing and then what we used to call jade vision.
Oh no, I'm seeing the gears.
How things really exist, quote unquote.
I'm becoming a gear.
And you are seeing then. So when you look at Mordecai, you are seeing. I mean, there's a moment that it's Mordecai as you're used to seeing him, and then you get to see Mordecai as when you go into this sort of phase out, and as you look around, everything is in motion. All of the, even if it was a normal tree, it has motion, it has purpose, it has direction and movement. You can see the tree growing, and it's almost growing like it is, gears are pushing it up out of the ground, and you're seeing the air, flow almost like it's just a gelatinous haze that you can just almost like touch and swirl and have contact with. And so you are getting a very interesting circumstance.
Yes, very interesting indeed.
And you will have this form until you don't. Well, I'll leave it open-ended. Now, you can still end up you can hold stuff, and but this is more of a role-play prompt for you. And if it does turn into, if it does turn into something else that could lead into a further investigation, I'm open to that. So,
Cypher is definitely going to want to investigate this.
So
he's just looking around, seeing everything is gears, and he's like, wow, I was so wrong. I've got a lot of notes to make.
And so no obvious information is going to fall into your lap, but there is the potential for information through continued study.
There's definitely going to be a
Is there a potential that Cypher could lose his mind?
I guess if he wants to take that risk of doing a deep dive, so I will say by default, no. But if he wants to pursue, something where there's a risk and reward, that would be fine. If you're willing to put, an aspect of sanity, there are sanity rules in the DMG. If you're willing to put something up, then, I would be willing to also put out the possibility for some sort of gain through knowledge or material.
Jade certainly learned her mind doing a deep dive into this kind of shit.
Maybe at some point, but not today, because my dice rolls are not going to support that.
Jade did the deepest dive.
Might I suggest a game of cards?
Yeah.
All right. So Professor Cypher's become a wraith. Kazimir has hunted a bear owl, and now we come to you, Mordecai. Mordecai, you wish to conduct some religious study, and I will say here that prayer itself, while that seems to be a medium through which divine favor is granted, and that can very well manifest as magic. though, praying itself is not magical in so much that per se a verbal component to a spell is not itself intrinsically magical. And so, the ceremony, depending on what you want to do, and I'll let you narrate your pursuit, a lot of, the practices, if you wanted to go through, if you wanted to say a prayer, or if you're doing, I don't know, maybe you're writing out some words to a song of faith, or you want to draw, the symbol of Ouijas. These exercises alone aren't necessarily going to trigger some kind of wild magic. They can be a medium, and of course this is something that can be explored. So unless you want to somehow use magic with these gestures or drawings or scribblings to invoke magic, that's fine. Otherwise, if you want to perform a ceremony and perhaps, call to Ouijas or Celine, or to just see what happens in a circumstance, you can, you can just invoke. But so the spotlight is now on you, Mordecai. What would be the goal that you are looking to? Do you have a hope, even if you're talking as Coffee Cat, sort of out of character that we can translate in character? Do you have a hope for what you would like to determine, experiment with, or honestly, are you just like, hey, I'm here, let's give it a try. There's a place of potent magic. Maybe something will happen.
It's a little bit of that, and it's a little bit of Mordecai feeling a little bit lost.
Okay.
He's feeling directionless. He's feeling aimless. He's feeling as if there's a purpose he's supposed to fulfill, but he's not aware of what it is. That there is something that he wants to know what Shonaruth is. He wants to know what all of this means, what he's supposed to do. He's looking for guidance, direction. He's looking for something to guide him, because he doesn't know what he's supposed to do in a big world like this. With so much going on, he's not sure what his purpose is anymore. With Celine gone.
All right then, we can work with this. I mean, part of one's pursuit, whether it's in character or out of character, is to try and there's there we go. We got the instant sketch. We have Cypher. We have Professor Cypher Wraith form, or however you'd want to describe that. Thank you for the sketch, Dark Wolf.
No problem.
He's not sure how he's supposed to be able to also cure his own vampirism. So he's kind of looking for direction in that too.
So yeah, we want to answer some foundational questions. We want to seek that that guiding light of some kind to try and find an answer, or at least a direction if we're feeling directionless, and go from there.
He's always kind of gone with the flow up until this point, but the flow goes everywhere now. Which one does he follow?
Yeah, I'm digging this. All right, we are going to handle this. This isn't so much it's not really going to be a contest per se. So I mean, unless you want me to devise a pit fighting equivalent for you, I think we can we can stray from the template there. This is going to I will still call for 3 rolls. But this is more of depending on the potency of the rolls, we'll see what happens next. The first thing is I would like you to make an intelligence religion check.
Okay. Since we more or less rested, can I do this at advantage?
Yeah, you can invoke that on any of these rolls.
Since that one I am not proficient in, I am going to do that.
Okay.
But it is, for some reason, there it goes. It was
yeah, there's been some. I think because everyone's using Roll20 because we're all shut in.
Right.
There's been some delays.
It was being robots.
Oh, there we go.
Goes.
Oh, well, it's a good thing it's not a 7. Okay, so we have a 16. Okay, and yeah, you feel this. You're calling on the notes that you've made and the notes that had been sketched into the book that Celine had left, and even memories of your childhood in attending services with your family, or if you had other friends or playmates or other families that live next to you, that would celebrate. Holidays came to mind and other celebrations.
Living near the temple there kind of had a lot of influence.
And memories of these times begin to fill your mind, and not in a I guess a supernatural sense, but a strong callback, a strong nostalgia to a younger Mordecai. To a Mordecai who, had that earnest faith as a kid, who did remember running around with the other kids, or opening a present, or performing a ceremony, or a pageant, or, other things that would accommodate the rituals of the temple that you live next to. And, I don't think any of us are going to argue that Mordecai is an emotional receptor. You are you're an empathic lightning rod. And so
that's putting it lightly.
That is. And so you're studying this, and this is in this moment, Mordecai. While this is an intelligence-based skill, using your mind has put you into this state, into this open-mindedness, into this kind of receptive state of. I remember that time, and the kids next door, I don't know, they pulled a prank, and they stole a tray of tieflinged eggs, and I don't know, set up a little a prank with them that they'd splatter onto people. And it's certainly, tieflinged eggs are a good part of the of the holiday to celebrate, but that little bit of spice and everything, I don't know, some spice got in someone's eye, and then everyone got in trouble, and you remember laughing, but at the same time you also remember feeling bad that someone got some spice in their eye from this, but ultimately how the family would talk about it years to come, and so this is really getting you into, yeah, we said the prayers. Yes, we attended the temple. Though this closeness I felt was with these other people. That we were there for the same reason, but we still did what we needed to do as people, and not just the speech and the response that was a part of the holiday at the temple. And so there's this moment of clarity. I won't define that for Mordecai, but so you can translate what I'm saying in your own Mordecai fashion. I'm not going to tell you what to feel, but there's this moment of connection where the true purpose. It wasn't just to say the prayers and to light the candles and to go through that. It's a part of it, but that memory just replayed itself. Maybe even I mean, we can even question, maybe that memory actually replayed itself in front of you. Like you were witnessing it. Like it was kind of a dream. You know, you couldn't chase after the kids. You didn't smell the paprika equivalent of deviled eggs, tiefling eggs. But it still puts you in this in this mood. And what this is going to do is I will carry over the advantage into your next check because you have prepared yourself to approach the concepts you're exploring differently than perhaps how you've been doing it before when you're trying to figure out the book from this other perspective, maybe a more, pardon the pun, a more jaded perspective or something along those lines. So now we're going to move into a carousing check, as you are going to beseech the highest entity or entities. You are going to try and go above and beyond mortality, not necessarily through unlife, but in this case, something that is life, but it's not life because it is immortal and therefore was never life to begin with, or some, whatever. Fill in a philosophy of your choice. But we're going for the higher ups. We're talking about the actual movers and shakers of the world, not in the world. Manifestations of philosophy, and those who have gone on to start religious thinking in different varieties here. And you're calling out, you're seeking direction. And of course, if you're carousing, you're meeting different people at a party. You might meet a wealthy merchant who can, hook you up if you want to do some mercantile business. You might meet the high priest of this faith if you wanted to perhaps get a favor from the church. You might meet the viceroy of a noble if you wanted to pursue something, more legislative or something along those lines, or the general. So this is going to present a way for you to perhaps meet influencers of existence. Does that make sense for why we're doing a carouse check here?
Right.
We will do this. Instead of charisma persuasion, I would like to modify this slightly. We can still use charisma, but I would like to instead go through insight.
Okay.
And so we're gonna blend your expression, the outwardness, with the reception of insight. And so
I'm proficient in both.
Okay, so then this would just be then. I guess then you just make it kind of like a persuasion, but we're gonna call it. If you had expertise in persuasion, we're technically using insight, but if that's not the case, then just roll. You can roll persuasion, and you're doing this at advantage.
Okay. That is not an expertise skill for me, so. Clicked it. There it goes.
Ooh, lordy! That's a green number. That's a green number, y'all. All right, so that's a 28. Carousing with entities here. This is a good thing I wasn't prepared for, I suppose. We're talking about the fundamental way. All right. You are going to make one more support check, and then I'm going to narrate how this is going to go. I also would like you to make a... I want you to make a con check as if you are resisting continuing to drink blood from someone. You have a special roll for that.
I do. It's at advantage.
Yes.
Constitution check or saving throw?
I'm sorry. You can do it as if the blood, so saving throw.
Okay. Because for me that makes a difference. Because jack of all trades. So.
Right. I'm gonna make a computer noise because I got to plug in my headphones. By the way, Derek, did you discover what happened to your? Was it because the cats? It kind of has a thread, like a cloth-like, and so I've had to get the cats off.
I think it was just because I've had several points where I've had to plug it in, which forced my head to be very, very close to the monitor, and it might have just been like a stress pulling in the USB at one of the two connectors.
Ah, gotcha.
Like the port or the cord was getting stressed. So that's a 16.
Okay. Well, where were these dice for Professor Cypher?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Now, I guess I'm gonna have to... One moment. Oh boy, Mordecai. You know this room.
Oh.
Hi.
Yep, I know this room.
Are we gonna get the soundtrack? Oh, we are. It's just my Roll20 has decided to not play it.
Mordecai, apparently you are going to have something to talk about with Professor Cypher, as you are also, for a moment, going to sort of blink out, and you're going to find yourself in a very familiar place. You know, this is unfortunately familiar, too familiar. And... there is going to be a couple things happening here. Mordecai, as you find yourself lost in the pages of Celine's journal, you are drawn into this familiar place, an infinite plane of darkness, yet with a directionless, yet directioned spotlight. The spotlight is always on you, though you cast no shadow. And as you are in this, it feels like a room. Not necessarily claustrophobic, it feels like a room, though there's really no walls. You're not even sure, it feels like you're standing on a floor, but there's no floor. And the light seems to have a source in a ceiling that also doesn't exist. There, as you are reaching out You're trying to search for answers. You're trying to find a direction, someone or something, or a solution to what is going on with you or others or the world at large. There are 3 entities that appear. The first before you is that of a red-haired lady. You might have seen her in a book that you've just been recently studying. None of these entities seem to interact with you. They exist almost as if, like, as a direction you can walk towards. So you're going to get a choice here. You have a red-haired lady that has this blue fiery aura about her. You have Jade standing there. Just waiting, quiet, staring. And also, you have Noralai. That she has her purple rack of horns, her violet skin. She's wearing what she did when you last saw her. And she's there, kind of, hands clasped in front of her, and standing there. There's really no motion to them. You have these 3 figures. And Mordecai, you can choose which figure you would like to approach. And you get 1. So choose as you will.
These figures appear in front of Mordecai.
Mm-hmm.
2 of which he feels responsible for their deaths. One of which is a god.
Of death.
Of death. He wasn't expecting this. He wasn't expecting to actually get something to appear. And so in the moment, he's petrified. Oh, gods. And so he knows that Jade's connected to Shona Earth, and that Noralai is connected to the wild magic, to the, I suppose, essence of the world itself, in being able to, like Bright's been saying, kind of focus energy to be able to combat some of the things that are resistant to magic. But then there's Weejas. The god who took Celine. Well before her time. So he approaches Weejas. Because if Celine isn't here to fulfill her part of the job, somebody has to.
Okay. The other 2 figures are going to vanish as you walk, or a semblance thereof, towards Weejas. And what we're going to do, I need to get up and take a break. I think this is before we start a revelation or an explanation or a question. Let's get up and take a little break, and when we come back, we'll pick up exactly here. and we'll find out what happens. So, give me at least a couple minutes. I think I might get a snack while I'm up too, and we'll be back in this bit of a tense moment, everyone.